Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock, coming to you today for another little live demo. Hope everybody's doing well. It's Thursday. We've made it. It was a short week. We had Monday off, which is always a great thing. So today we're going to work on some Christmas cards. I don't know about you, but crafters are always working months ahead. So we've already gotten our Halloween cards done and our Thanksgiving cards done. So now our attention turns to Christmas with cards and, if you're doing craft fairs, different packaging for different items. So it's a busy time of year for crafters. So tonight I'm going to show you two cards that we're going to make with two stamp sets. One, the images are from our annual catalog, and it is the Christmas season stamp set that is on page 44. Okay, so now this came out last year, so some of you may already have this. Did I drop? I don't think I dropped any of my stamps, but it's cute. It's got the different images, pine cones and just some berries and holly berries and leaves. So it's seasonal and festive, but it doesn't have to say Christmas. It could just say winter or nature. So I think it's pretty versatile. And then we're going to use from a new mini catalog, we're going to use Sentiments that is just called Hope and Peace. I always have trouble finding Christmas-like sentiments that I like, that are a little bit more, I guess, religious, on the religious side towards the season. So when I saw this, I thought it was really nice. So I got it, and we're going to use it tonight. And it works well with a set that just has images. So I think these two will pair nicely together, and I hope that you'll like what we came up with. So as usual, we're going to do one simple stamping card, which is right here. It's just stamps, inks, and paper. Now I did use a couple of different shades of inks because you wanted to get the tones with the pine cone, but you can use just one ink pad if that's all you have. Just do one darker and then stamp off and do one lighter. So you should always do the light to dark. So for example, if all you had was soft suede, you could stamp the soft suede, ink up your stamp with soft suede, stamp it off on a piece of scrap paper, then stamp the image again. So you're getting a lighter shade of the soft suede, and then come back over it with the full strength of soft suede on the second stamp. And that will give you that variegated look without having to use two different stamps, two different ink pads, I should say. All right, and then we're going to step it up. We're going to get a little more festive here. We're going to do some embossing with an embossing folder. We're going to do some die cuts, and we're going to learn how to color our embellishments. I did not have cherry cobbler embellishments, and I wanted cherry cobbler embellishments. So I just took our basic rhinestone basic jewels and I colored them with a stamping blend so that I could get my cherry cobbler embellishments. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So I've put everything, all my stamps are already on block, so we're good to go. So let's take a look at our stamp set. We've got our Christmas season. We're going to use some of the pine cones, some of the pine leaves and pine branches and the holly and these little red dots. And then we're going to pair it up with sentiments from Hope and Peace. All right. So if you're watching, let me know where you're watching from. Go ahead and leave me a message or give me a hello. And I'd like to know where everybody's watching from and what's your weather like there where you are today. It was a little on the chilly side and rainy here in Virginia, but we'll take it. So no secret stamping on Sunday. My husband and I are going on one last hurrah with the RV, and we're just going to go out for the weekend. So we'll be back on Monday. So I'll be back on the 18th for secret stamping. All right. So I'm going to use a card base of Mossy Meadow. That's 8.5 by 5.5. I've scored it at 4 1/4. And to that, I'm going to put a piece of basic white on the inside. That is 4 by 5 1/4. I've got a piece of cherry cobbler for the outside. That's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I've got another piece of basic white that's going to go on the outside. That's 5 by 3 3/4. All right, so let's go and stamp. This is going to be in the landscape or horizontal orientation. So just make sure, sometimes it's important, sometimes it's not. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to stamp a sentiment on our inside piece of basic white. And I'm stamping this in Mossy Meadow to match my card base. So I'm just going to go and stamp, wishing you the hope and peace of Christ this season. All right, and we got that. We're good to go. All right, I'm just going to put that aside. We're going to do all of our stamping first. So I'm going to put these other pieces aside until we're ready to assemble. All right. Now, I'm going to use my Stampin' Pierce mat because these are, excuse me, photopolymers. And I need a vacation, man. I'm tired. So we're going to use our Evening Evergreen and our Mossy Meadow. Now, if you don't have both of these, you can still do it with using just one. So let's say we're going to use just our Evening Evergreen. Okay. Well, let's go here. I'm going to start with this. I'm going to start with our pine branches, and I'm just going to kind of stamp them kind of along the sides and along the bottom. Along the left side and along the bottom. Okay, and I want to be careful. I don't want to get that. Okay, one more, maybe one more up here. And you see how I have a piece of scrap paper underneath because I'm stamping some of it off. And that's fine. So let me clean this off for a minute. Now, I wanted to stamp this leaf just to give it some interest. And I was going to stamp it in Mossy Meadow. But let's just say I don't have Mossy Meadow. Let's just say all I have is Evening Evergreen. So let me stamp. I'm going to ink up my stamp. I'm going to get it really inky. And I'm going to stamp it off. And I'm going to come over here and I'm just going to stamp it. And you see it's a shade lighter. So it looks like you have two stamp sets, but you really don't. So I'm going to just put one over here. Okay, that's all we're going to do for that. So now I've still got my kind of two-tone greens going on. Not the same as if I had used the Mossy Meadow, but that's all right. And we're going to put a great big pine cone right in the middle. And make sure you use the right one. Make sure these. Okay. Check something. So I'm going to put this here. I'm stamping this in soft suede, and then I'm going to come in here with what I'm calling like the contrast stamp, and that's going to provide that little bit of extra dimension to our pine cone. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to ink this one up, and I'm going to stamp this right over here. Now you notice I stamped my lighter brown first, and I'm going to come over it with my darker brown. You always stamp lighter color first, darker color after. All right, now we're going to come in with some of this little cherry cobbler. We're just going to add a couple of little accents. Not much, just some little. I think I need to re-ink my cherry cobbler pad. I'm going to turn this around. Okay, and we're just going to have some fun. Just put it where you think you want it. It doesn't have to be everywhere, but I think that's enough. All right, and then we're going to come in with our Mossy Meadow, and we're going to stamp Merry Christmas. All right, let me make sure. Let me clean this off. Make sure. Okay, and I'm just make sure this is straight. And we're just going to stamp Merry Christmas. Okay, so now we're ready to assemble our cards. We've got all the different pieces stamped. So let's go ahead and assemble it. All right, so we've got our piece for the inside. Let's go ahead and stick that on. Let me find my, couldn't find my Stampin' seal for a minute. I think I have enough to last through the demo. It's feeling like it might run out, but I think we're okay. All right. So go ahead. Don't forget, let me know where you're watching from. I'd love to know where everybody's tuning in from. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, I would be so appreciative if you would subscribe and click the bell notification so that you can be notified when I have new videos uploaded or when I'm going live. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers, which is a big leap, but I think I can do it. So encourage your friends to check out my channel. I have 2 videos a week for sure on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Plus I do my secret stamping on Sundays. Okay. So I'm just layering up my layers. I put on my cherry cobbler on top of my mossy meadow. And now we've got our basic white that we're going to put on. There we go. We've got that. Now let's come over here. I thought I had some rhinestones hanging around here somewhere. No? What did I do with my rhinestones? I had them. I know I had them. Here they are. Like, I'm pretty sure I had them over here. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a couple of rhinestones. Let me put like 2 more. Big one there, a little one, and then maybe one more little one over here. And that is our card. And I've got a piece of hair. There we go. That's our simple stamping card. Nothing more than stamps, inks, and paper, but we just used a couple of rhinestones. We've got some really great, that mossy meadow, that cherry cobbler, I think that work really well together. So a very simple, quick, and easy Christmas card to do. If you got a December birthday, great for December birthdays. You can make this into an anniversary card. If you think you need some thank you cards, for the season, go ahead and just do something like this. Just put a thank you up there and you've got a great thank you card. All right, let's go ahead and work on our second card. So we've done a little bit more here. I used the Wintry 3D embossing folder to emboss a piece of our mossy meadow. So it gives that great pine branch look. And the other one in that is like snowflakes, so snowfall. So it's a great one for this time of year. Now I've got a whole bunch of basic white scraps here because we're going to do some stamping and die cutting. I did die cut our label already. And then we're going to use a base of crumb cake that's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I've got a piece of soft suede that is 4 by 5 1/4. And for the inside, I have a piece of our basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4. This piece of mossy meadow is 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, and that is as wide as the folder is. It's one of the slimline folders that will fit in the mini stamp cut and emboss machine. So I couldn't go any wider than this, but I think that will work. So let's go ahead. We're going to stamp on the inside. We're going to stamp a Merry Christmas. We're going to stamp a baby pine cone in there. So let's go ahead and get started with our stamping. Let me pull back in my Stampin' Pierce mat. And I like the Stampin' Pierce mat because when you are using photopolymer stamps, it gives you an extra cushion so that you get a nice clean stamp, or at least that's the hope, that you get a nice clean stamp. So let me see, where are my little pine cones? Okay, we got this one in our soft suede. We'll put that there. And then we're going to go with the overlay in Early Espresso. And there's no right or wrong way. It just kind of fits somewhere in that image. So don't worry if you think it's not exactly perfect. It's supposed to look like that. So just match it up as best you can and stamp away. All right, so on the inside of this one, we are going to put a Merry Christmas, and we are going to do that again in our mossy meadow. So we're pretty much keeping everything in the same color palette that we had. We're not really going outside and introducing a lot of different colors. Okay. All right, so that's our inside. We're just going to lay that aside for now. I'm going to stamp our label, and that we're going to stamp the big one that says peace on earth, goodwill to all. And again, we're going to stamp this in our mossy meadow. So there we go. Okay, I'm going to put that aside. Now we've got a lot of little pieces that we're going to stamp and die cut. So the first thing we want to do is, excuse me, we're going to stamp our big pine cone in soft suede. We're going to stamp one of these. Okay. And we're going to stamp two little ones. I'm going to do all my soft suede. So these will all work. Maybe I can only get, oh, did I not do the right one? I did not do the right one. All right. So we're just going to leave that for a minute because I made a mistake. Where are my little, oh, here they are. No wonder why. Okay. So we're going to stamp this. I'm going to stamp one there. I'm going to flip this around. I'm going to stamp the other one there. And that's just that when it's die cut, I have more room to maneuver. So we're done with our soft suede. Let's close that up. We are going to stamp the overlay in our early espresso. I'm going to do one there and one there. Okay. And then we're going to do one with our big stamp. Trying to see which one it is. I think it's this one. Okay. And we're going to stamp this right over there like that. Okay. So now we've got those stamped. So we're going to put those aside because we're going to have to cut those in a minute. Now we're going to stamp our holly berry leaves. Let's see. Should work. Okay. I'm going to stamp these in our mossy meadow. Now you're going to see it looks like there's no ink, like the ink didn't go there. That is how it is supposed to look. If you look at the, excuse me, I got something in my throat. If you look at the picture on the case, that is actually how it's supposed to look. It's supposed to have like that artistic look to it. So don't fret that that is not fully stamped. That is the look. Okay. Then we're going to stamp also in our mossy meadow this little stem for the holly berries. So I'm going to stamp that there. Okay. All right. And then we're going to bring in our cherry cobbler. If I can find it. I always start out so organized. As it goes on, I just become more and more disorganized. All right. So we're going to stamp these. Now, there is a separate stamp. I found that because of the way this die is, it's much easier if you have the berries stamped on here also. So that'll help us for placement. But I am also going to stamp, and I think I could get them right out of here. So we won't waste too much white paper. I'm going to just stamp an extra set here because we're actually going to pop those up on our card front. All right. So now we're going to take out some dies. We're going to take out our mini stamp cut and emboss, and we are going to do some die cutting. All right, so we got our mini stamp cut and emboss. I need my plates. Okay. All right. I have to get some new plates for this. Every time I place an order, I always forget to order new plates. All right. So have you ever seen this? These are these 4x6 garage magnets. They're called garage door magnets. You can buy them on Amazon. I think I got, I don't know, like 50 of them for like 20 or 30 bucks. They were pretty inexpensive, but I just use some tear tape and I stick them in here so that I can always know where my matching dies are. So just a little tip if you are interested. All right, let's go. We've got some die cutting to do. So let's go here. I should have done some of this ahead of time, but I was actually playing with soft seedlings. I just got that new stamp set today, and I really like it. So I was playing with that. That is going to be one of the prizes for our upcoming Stampin' Bingo, the soft seedlings. When I first, I guess I kind of passed over it in the catalog, and then I started seeing cards with it. I'm like, I really like those. So I was looking for prizes for bingo, and I said, ooh, maybe we'll get that one. And then I said, well, I just have to have that now too. So got one for bingo and one for me. So that sounds fair, right? Don't you think? I think that sounds fair. All right, we're going to cut out our holly leaves next. And this chair creaks terribly. All right, line it up. Oh, nope. See, I kind of wish they had the magnetic plates for this, but unfortunately they did not live up to Stampin' Up's standards, so they discontinued them. But hopefully they're back at the drawing board and we'll come up with some better plates. Because I find the magnetic plates very helpful. So although this die is one die, it will cut the leaves separately. Oh, that helps if you can actually see it. So it's one die, but it cuts two separate leaves. So just so you know, the more you know. All right, then we've got this little hollyberry thing. Okay, we're almost done, folks. I promise. We're almost done. But just a lot of little die cutting pieces. But I think these are fun. I like this. I didn't really use the set that much last year. I used the dies for sure. The pine cone dies. I was all about the pine cones last year. But I didn't use the rest of it too much. So now I'm kind of making up for lost time. All right. Now we've got, the last thing we've got to cut is our big pine cone and our little hollyberries. So let's go ahead and get these cut, and then we can finish our card. So World Card Making Day is coming up on October 1st, and Stampin' Up is doing a big craft together day, and they're using 3 bundles, and one of the bundles is going to be in the January to June mini coming up. So if you order that bundle, I think it's called Welcome Home, you can get a sneak peek at one of the new items that's coming. So you'll be you'll be one of the cool kids on the block because you'll be in the know before everybody else. And then the other ones are using our Cottage Rose from the annual catalog and Cottage Wreaths from the July to December mini. So they're using those 3 bundles. So if you're interested, they're going to post a link, I believe, on their Stampin' Up page. I think it's going to be on their Facebook page, but I don't know for sure where it's going to be. But you can join that, and it's a free event. So check it out. Make sure you check it out. All right, I forgot to do some stamping, so let me go back and do this. I wanted to just stamp some pine branches on these sides to just kind of give it a little bit more character, but I'm going to stamp them in soft suede, so we're going to do some tone on tone stamping. So bear with me for 1 minute. I knew I would forget to do something. I always do. And where is my, there it is. Okay. Let me just give it a quick scrub. Okay. Now this is just going to be really quick and easy because not that much of it is going to show. So I'm just going to kind of go all different ways to just kind of give that edge just a little bit of personality. And maybe we'll do this one this way. We'll go this way. We'll do this one downward pointing. Okay. So like I said, there's not that much of this that's going to show. So it's not going to take much to kind of just add some. Okay, and that's it. We're done. Now we're done with all the stamping. So that was my fault. All right. Here we go. Now we're ready to assemble. Yikes. All right, we're going to take our piece for the inside and we're going to put it like this. Don't do what I did earlier and put it in upside down. That would be bad. Make sure you put it right side up. Keep losing everything. And there it is. Ooh, well, that's a good thing it's going on that. So, all right. So now we've got our inside. And again, this is a light enough color. You don't have to do the white piece. I like it. I think it makes the card look finished. My opinion, your cards, you can do whatever you want with them. But that is just my 2 cents. So there we go. So we're going to put on this. Okay, that is not quite right. A little bit over to this way. A little bit more. Okay. There we go. Now, this we're going to put on. Seeing how it's going to cover up and just a little bit of that stamped edge is going to show. But it kind of coordinates with our embossing folder. So I thought it worked pretty good. I mean, we probably could have done it in the green. I kind of like doing it on the tone on tone. All right. Got that. And just center this in between the 2 pieces. There we go. All right. Now we're going to add our sentiment. We're going to add that with some dimensionals. So I'm just going to put 4 on there. All right, I'm going to put that right there on top center. Now, we're going to take these and we're going to arrange these. So I'm going to just kind of place them first to see how I like them, and then I can go back and stick them down. So now this is going to come there, and then we're going to pop this up with dimensionals, and we're going to pop our leaves up with dimensionals. So, all right, so I'm going to do something like that. So I'm going to start. I'm going to lay my big pine cone down first. Pardon me, I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm going to do, because my little puppy's been getting me up early, but I did take a nap after work today. All right, so now we're just going to stick that one there. We're going to come and we'll stick this one here. All right, now I'm going to stick this kind of right in the middle of our pine cones. All right, now we're going to come along with some dimensionals, and we're going to put our leaves on. All right, I'm going to put kind of 1 leaf there. I kind of want to make sure I cover up that stem just a little bit. We're going to come down here with our other leaf. We're going to put some dimensionals on that. Okay, there we go. And now we're going to take this little piece and we're going to put the mini dimensionals on here and get that piece popped up. Ooh. Let's see, that's 3. Hopefully that's enough. Oh, let's put 1 more on. We have 4 little berries. Let's put 1 on each berry. Okay. All right, so there we have that. Now we're just going to pop that up. So it's going to go right over our stamped image, if I can get it off my finger. And there we have that. So that's popped up. And then we're going to add some rhinestone basic jewels. Again, if I can find where I just put them. Here they are. Now, I said I wanted them to be in cherry cobbler, and I don't have cherry cobbler. So I'm going to take my Stampin' Blends, and I am just going to color. Oops, that one. Okay, that one might not work. It looks like he's lost his backing. Okay, so now I've got my gems colored just by using the brush end of my Stampin' Blends. Now I'm going to come in and I'm going to add these to my card. All right, let's see if we can put these up with our putty end. Yes, no. Okay, there's one. There's two. And there is three. And that, my friends, is our advanced card or our super stamper card. All right, so that's it for me. I hope everybody has a great weekend. I will see you all next Thursday. Again, no secret stamping on Sunday. I'll be back on Tuesday with a lesson at lunch. That's it. Have a great one, everybody. Bye.